The great outdoors are a part of what makes Idaho, Idaho. It's why many people live here. And the Boise River in our capital city is a great example. But one river outfitter says that he's hindered from enjoying that waterway to its fullest. And he says that restrictions put in place by the city of Boise, they've been negatively impacting his business. It's been a problem for years now. So this is a good time now to bring in Andrew Bartline, who talked to the outfitter today. He's taking this problem up with the outfitter's licensing board. Andrew, what do we need to know?
Well, he testified at their meeting today, specifically with that licensing board, Joe. And when he went there, he had 2 complaints specifically, and it supplemented that with a 60-page document. It states his complaints and shows emails between him and the city going back to June this year. Adam Bass is his name, and the designated agent for an outfitter called Boise River Outdoor Opportunities, again, the name of his business. He is licensed by a state agency to run a business taking people on trips through Idaho rivers, and his company is permitted by the city of Boise's Parks and Rec Department to run that business through stretches of the Boise River, which naturally flows through Esther Simplot Park, despite signs, Adam says, placed there by the city, stating people cannot continue further down the river. Multiple signs offer this warning, and they have been in place for years now, Adam says. But Bass's business is licensed to disregard those signs and continue down the river anyway, which puts him in a difficult position with his clients who question the safety and legitimacy of his business for not following the posted signs.
And so the licensing board is my boss, basically. They give me the authority to be able to take guests on the river because the state has the authority to issue license authorities to guides and outfitters like myself to be able to determine what is safe and what's not. And so when there's signs that say hazardous areas ahead, they start paddling worse. It has psychological impacts on the trip dynamics. And we're navigating through it because our operation is safely navigating through it, and I've deemed it as safe. It questions that authority that has been given to me by the state. It causes a worse experience for guests. And the city doesn't have the authority or enforcement abilities to be able to put those signs up or to control how they get enforced.
Bass says the city is overstepping their grounds in violating state statute that awards the authority to judge the dangers of a river to those licensed outfitters. Moreover, Bass points to another issue down the river near that surfing wave at Esther Simplot Park, where the city redirects water to a specific area to create a wave to surf on. There is a pass-through for rafts, but he says it's often very low, at times unsafe.
You can see the orange booms there, the buoys, and just to the left of that, there's 2 concrete walls, and there's a gate in between those so they can adjust that gate and raise it or lower it. They use up all of the water for the wave shaper and barricade access to that water, which means our typical route through that feature becomes completely dewatered, which has safety concerns for guests as well as the general public, and it impedes the navigability of through traffic.
Bass's report further states this navigability is a violation of state law again, and to operate this wave, it impedes on that traffic flowing through the park by way of the Boise River. That report, again, it's 60 pages. It's now in the hands of the Outfitters and Guides Licensing Board. That's a state agency that Bass testified today in their meeting. The board, again, Joe, it's a state organization. They have a legal team. They're looking at these complaints and trying to sort out what is sort of truth here, because again, these are just complaints, but he outlined those 2 laws specifically that he's concerned about, that he says both those signs and the way they redirect the water to the wave, those are violations of state statute, he says.
I'm curious, does the city of Boise have a statement on this, or did you hear from them today?
So I was on the phone with the city of Boise earlier about what they have to say about it. It seems that they're aware of the situation. Again, he's been in touch with them going back to June. That report shows it through emails. But they contend that they aren't doing anything wrong. They're not violating any laws. And for the signs specifically, I was told that's not stopping anyone from doing anything if you want to disregard the signs. And he is, again, legally allowed to disregard the signs because of the authority given to him as an outfitter by state authority, I should say.
Very good. I'm curious if those signs were put up just to deter rafters from floating the Boise River from getting in dangerous situations. But we'll follow this. I'm interested to find out what that answer is. All right, Andrew Bartline reporting. We'll be back.